Before we begin the video, if you haven't yet, come on down and join my Discord server. Link is down in the description. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for my review of Season 12, Episode 9. Zane, Pixel, and Wu visit Mistake 3.0, otherwise known as Milton Dyer's mom, who is somehow still alive. She gives them a bit of info about her son, and then we transition to the game. The ninja try to enter the Speedway 5 billion, but they're broke and they can't afford to. After a brief fight with the Red Visors, they enter a dance competition to get some more money. Jay and Nia enter and the Red Visors try to stop them, but luckily the other ninja fight back and Cole even does the triple tiger sachet. Jay and Nia win the competition and they get their money, but now they actually have to get vehicles. The ninja know just who to ask. Scott, but Unagami is also onto their plan. So starting off with the good things, I really like that this episode actually showed some of the Zane plot. Zane's story is only receiving 2 episodes, so I think it's a good thing that it was included. The scene gave us a bit more to learn about Dyer, and it kind of was a teaser of what's to come next. Kai's avatar also makes an appearance in this episode, and I do like that the avatars are actually canon. Usually these side minifigures aren't actually in the show, but this time around they actually are, which I think is pretty cool. It may be a small thing, but I still wanted to note that. Now, I think the big success of this episode is the action is very unique. In my opinion, this season has way too much fighting, and it just gets boring after a while. But in this episode, we see a dance contest, which is certainly different. As opposed to the countless Red Visor fights we've seen, this is actually something that stands out, and I feel like it's something I'd remember. So I praise this episode for making an attempt to stand out, and it definitely succeeds. This episode has some really nice Jay and Nia moments, and it is definitely a nice contrast to Skybound. And I say that because Skybound had a lot of emotional and dramatic scenes, but Prime Empire is just Jay and Nia having casual moments, and I think that is just as effective, honestly. This episode is also a very nice follow-up to Let's Dance, and when there was Red Visor fighting, it was kept to a minimum. We have a short Red Visor fight at the beginning of the episode, and it wasn't long, which I like. I prefer these shorter fight scenes because they aren't as long and drawn out, and it also allows the episode to focus on other stuff. I also must say the fan service and references in this season are just awesome. In this episode, Cole does the famous triple tiger sachet, and you know, these references aren't game changers, but I definitely think they make the episode more interesting. And lastly, the episode does end off with Scott, and I feel like that was a nice setup for the next episodes. We also see, or rather hear, a bit of Unagami as well, which is cool too. As for the bad things about this episode, honestly not much, just a few very minor things. First of all, why does every old woman in the series have to look like either Mistake or Sorla? I understand there is a budget, but it still feels rather repetitive. Secondly, why so much fighting in Prime Empire? It feels like every episode has to meet this requirement of one fight scene. And I'm talking about that first fight scene, which wasn't bad, but just very unnecessary. Lastly, I feel this episode is a bit boring at times, and during the dance scenes it can be a bit slow. But that is really all. As for the plot of this episode, I really like that this episode and episode 10 are much more casual. Rather than jumping right into the race, they give us more time to explore Prime Empire. And the concept of this episode was really nice. As for characters, Jay and Nia stand out. As she put it, they had nice chemistry. Action, as I've already explained, was really nice in this episode, and it did feel unique to me. And lastly, emotion does not apply here. I will give this episode yet another 8.5 out of 10. It had a cool idea, which was executed well in my opinion. Yeah, it had its boring moments, but I think this episode is definitely one that will stand out in this season. Anyways though, that is about all for my review of One Step Forward, Two Steps Back. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone you never need to know. Let me know what you guys thought of the 9th episode of Prime Empire, and I'll see you next time.